Hello and greeting to everyone in the planet, especially the Canadians, my fellow countrymen. This is the last of my speeches and talks and contemplations on the Canadian issues that I've been thinking about. I sound like an idealist when I talk these things, but everything has to start from a point. I don't think I'm an idealist. I think these things has to be done or we won't survive. So today, in my last talk about the Baha'i Faith in Canada series, Canadianism, I will be talking about cities, houses, traffics, and a few issues that are, I think, could be solved. When the English people came here, they were in their head, they were thinking of building cities, as they've done in this city where I'm. John Galt began the city and had planned. Nowadays there's no such news, because the bureaucracy and the red tape is so big. It's just, as I said, it's like a system is basically subduing everyone, killing everybody's power and eager ambitions too much. So you can see here and there's sometimes development, subdivisions, urban development happening that are not nearly as good as the original houses that you have seen, even in downtown Toronto or Vancouver. I've seen these new ones are not like, they seem to be built in desert because there's no trees. I don't know why they're cutting all the trees and there's no trees made in any of these subdivisions. Houses are too much attached together, land is very small, and the whole house looks like a factory. Got too many gadgets in it. I think in future people look at these issues totally differently. In my opinion, there are things that's given by God, by nature to us. Those things should not be sold. But when we put our workmanship on it, effort of a human goes into it, then it is, can be sold. One of this is land. In my opinion, anybody who's a Canadian has to be entitled to a piece of land to build a house on it. But in the criteria, of course. So the land should not be for sale. What should be for sale is that the services that they bring, sewer, water, and all that on the land, on the lot, or the actual house that's on it. The house is for sale, not the land. This way, the price of the house will come down, will become half. Everybody can afford it. Something to think about. So the houses, we're talking a little bit about the houses. I think our body looks like every other animal's, and if we want to house our body to live, it should resemble our body. We don't have a Euclidean mathematics, geometry in our body. There's no perfect circle, there's no triangle. Is natural. The house should be natural. In other words, if you put a bird in this house, that bird will be tired because it doesn't look like its own nest, or a tiger or a bear. I think our house should very much not to have smooth edges, floors, especially angles. These things bothers the psyche of the man and make him stressed out. Doesn't feel like home. Olden days, in Iran, I've seen the way people made those huts. Or even the houses that I remember I seen it in the villages. There was some kind of a plaster on it, but it was just made kind of by hand. No trowel. So the place wasn't exactly smooth. The corners wasn't there, and boy, it just felt so much like home, in it. The olden days, mankind had something. But if it is a commercial place or the place that we don't live in it as a home, I think it can be built differently. Just one opinion I have. Indians in North America, I've talked in the beginning of this series, they have something to say about this. Indians were not like us. The native people did not make tools wherever they required. They learned to adapt themselves to the nature, to become part of the nature, kind of run parallel with the nature. A lot of times you have to tame the nature, but they just felt that if it is cold, they have to leave, learn how to live with the cold. If it's too cold, then you just go south, like Inuit people went and built the Navajos. The rest of them, they stayed there. They wanted to stay there because they're adapted to the system. So this is one thing I think we have to learn. In that way, our houses should be the same way. It should be, it looks very much natural. It is definitely good for the psychology of the people. The psyche of man feels better on that. So one of the biggest side effects and problem with this our civilization is invention of the personal car. They have totally destroyed our cities. These cars, I don't know. Everyone knows what to do, but they say, yeah, we're too far into it. We don't know. Next generation will do. Because there's so much apathy, so much I don't care. It's not my country. It's not my people. The sense of belonging is just not there. This is the most grievous things about Canada. People help each other when something comes up. I've seen it greatly. But they don't care about the country as much, This is not just a country for us. If we build it properly, it's a model for the rest of the world to follow. You see, we have a mission to create a perfect country. So about the cars, I've been thinking a lot. I thought, why don't we extend the word home a little further, bigger than our actual house that we live in it? Let's say the city is home. In the home you don't drive car. So what do? Put it outside of the city. If you want to go from Toronto, I don't know, to Vancouver, take your car for now and future, even that has to be changed. But within the city, you should not drive car really. It should just be buses or trains, They have it in downtown Toronto, in many places, downtown London right now. You can't drive the car in the downtown area, or Gastown in Vancouver. I think we should have stopped doing this. It's nothing to do with cutting the freedom of the people. It's just we are spending too much of energy, too much of things over this business of the car. If it goes on like that, we will build enough cars that cars become useless because the traffic becomes so heavy that nobody can use it. I think this has to be extended to many, many places. Even highways like 401. Don't need a car there. You can create a simple train in all the cities to every streets. Car can go, a train can go. What do we do with these people that are building cars? First of all, the car could still be used outside, but turn them into build these locomotives, things that we needed inside town, I think we have to get rid of it. It's just too much gas, too much of everything over, we're breathing. We have to stop it. So, what else are the remnant of thoughts? I'm just going to say a couple of things also about marriage and divorce. I think marriage is a spiritual institution as totally ruled by the spiritual rules such as love, unity, trust, things that they don't sign paper for it. So it has to be kept and instituted the same way. Go marry in your church, in your mosque, in your temple. You do not need to register it with the government. Because the moment your marriage becomes a government marriage, then it's a contract in which trouble comes. A lot of trouble comes. Divorces becomes very difficult. The very fact that there is a marriage, it will end to the divorce. Mankind cannot live. The real freedom of man is that when there is no laws, man should know himself what to do at the circumstances given. When you're creating too many laws and avenues and roads and this and that, you're putting him in a virtual prison. You know, it's a grid. I can't move. And that again tires the psyche of the man. It's just not natural, you know. So my suggestion is that at this time especially, people should not marry and just live married with God, not with the government, because the rules of the government of marriage, it's just not right. Divorce is almost so difficult. It's even you have to pay for it to get divorced. Marriage is easy, but try to get divorced, it's very difficult. And when you're getting too close in this contract of the marriage, then becomes very vulnerable. I think, and if you are marrying, we'll have to sign a contract, I don't know, something bigger than prenuptial. Because I do a roof for my neighbor, I sign a contract. Even for my brother. Now I'm living with a woman that I did not, she's not related to me blood-wise, my sister, and my mother, and my daughter. Somebody else brought up, raised by some other families that I don't know how they are. You're just going to go in marriage ceremony or contract with this person, not knowing what's going to happen 5 years from now, 10 years from now. How could you estimate who you are 5 years from now, 10 years from now? You got to be a prophet of God to know exactly what would you like and what would you be at age 40. And at that time, if you don't like it, now you've mutated in something else. These two, they don't go together anymore. Now divorce comes and all that, it makes it difficult. I think we have to sign a serious contract within the boundary of the laws. Not that if I see you adultery, I'll kill you, because that's illegal. But you could say that I'm a personality that I don't like to see my spouse, you know, doing adultery. Okay, then put a price on it. Put a condition on it. And any partner do that, that's what they're going to go through. Those kind of conditions, something that then is a third person that contracted rules the family. So people, they know. If they want to do illegal things, they want to do unethical things, if they want to go change their mood in drinking or smoking or bad habits, they have to pay the price because it was there. And the mother and fathers, they have to be involved in making that contract important for the safety of the children, that mom and dad, they don't get along, so they know they have to pay the price. So think about it and see what you like, and ask your mom and dad and get into the contract. Write a very serious contract, acceptable by law, within the parameter of the law, and that will become the virtual boss. Because in the democracy, when there are two people, how could you get vote? There's no vote going. Democracy dies right at the door because it's for the outside of the house, not for inside, not for the home. So I think that's what we have to do to for things to get work. I'm just about done because this is, I know, a small video, very short, thanks God. The main things that we have to think, I do, that we're not just Canadian to live our life. We do have a mission. There's 5-6 billion people in the world, and we're a small country. They all like our country, they look at it. So we have to be dynamics, we have to understand the course of evolution, we have to think about it, or read about it. Get rid of this apathy, however you know it. Find intrigue, cut the TV, and then you'll see that your thought starts to work, because it's a one-side communication. TV puts so much stuff in your head without allowing you to think. Watch it a little bit, good programs. But get rid of this apathy and feel that you have a social, a spiritual mission for the mankind. If Canada works, it becomes, you know, an evolving country. Right now it's going down. But then mankind has a place to look at, you know. All African country, all the South American, Central American countries, all the Asian countries, and half the Europeans. That's pretty much all the world, isn't it? They look at us, you know, to see how we act, how we do. Because we've created a situation in here right now, the whole world is here. All the religions are here, all the races are here. It's a big task to put these things together. The planet hasn't been able to do it. Now we want to do it in this country. We have to seriously love the country, love the citizen, and respect the citizen of Canada. They have come from far and far places. 99% of them are good. Don't look at them as they are Indian or this or that. We're all the same, really. Just the color is a matter of quantitative genes on our skins. The culture and the mindset has to be Canadian. Willing to change, wanting to change, enjoying the change, you see. Those are the mottos and those are the slogans of us. We have to work towards it, you see. Separating ourselves as Anglo-Saxons from French and French from Indians, Indian from Chinese and Chinese from Arabs. We're going to grow up in a line separately. None of us are connected together. And this eventually gives rise to the racism, to jealousy, because at this way the races will be singled out. We have to improve our thinking and remarry and marry together, creating new generations of Canadians. Understand how this country was built originally, on what basis. And we take it from there and continue trying to make it to evolve in a better way. I've given you, I don't know, some 15 to 20 videos of my thoughts. My thoughts are not necessarily something that you have to accept, but at least if you hear it and think, okay, this immigrant thinking like that, call it an account of an immigrant, rate it for yourself. Come up on the YouTubes, go, or anywhere else that you like, counterback my opinions. If you come up with this good counterback that I see that is fruitful, I come totally opposite. I actually put it in right alongside of any of my talk and speeches, so the second opinion is there. But if we do keep doing this, we have to start a kind of a I don't know, movement. I like bigger guys. I mentioned people like Mansbridge or David Suzuki and others to come together and have speeches in TVs, in radios and whatnot and talk about Canada. And start from one issue and go on. Be practical also. And don't talk in the air. You know, people say, there's enough of poetry and philosophy. You know, we're practical people. Tell us, what do you think we should do? What are the problems? So gather the problems, say, okay, Canadian, they say 1 to 100, these are the problems. Then come up with the thinking and say what scientifically where we have to go. We have to do this. Unfortunately, I didn't go all my life after money. I couldn't, believe me. I just had to have enough to live here right now. Because if I was going after money like that, not that I didn't know how, then I could never become who I am today. And what I am right now today is the price I paid, and I bought something very great, the software in my mind. You know, it cost a lot of time and effort and money to be who I am. I'm not unhappy of this deal and exchange. But at the same time, if I had a lot of money, I would have immediately be right on the CBC, CTV, all over the places, and I would bring these ideas of Canada, you know, discussions. I would fill up the TV with it, the cities everywhere. I would make every Canadian to think. Get rid of the damn apathy, you know, indifference. You can't be indifferent about Canada. If you're indifferent about Canada, then you're not thinking about the rest of the world. Believe me, they have no models, these old countries. All they see is US is not working, you know it. Then is Canada and Australia. Australia is not as buoyant and as big, as mixed as we are. We have more people and population here. But Australia is great too, there's no doubt. Even for that matter, New Zealand. Those are the 5 Anglo-Saxon countries that they've been gracious enough allowing the other people to come and mingle with them. Now as soon as they bring all these people inside, then they keep them separate. And they don't want to contact with them and be with them and share with them. It's seriously not good. Because those who look brown like me in the skin color from Iran or Arabia or India or Pakistan, they are passionate Canadians, trust me. I've talked to them very much. And they love the country, especially when they're born here. It's a part of their religion, I tell you. If you're thinking they don't care about Canada, you're sincerely, I tell you, you're wrong, okay? But their differences, though, with you makes that to happen. That, hey, this guy's so different, I can't see him as a Canadian. He is. Because there's thinking of, tunnel vision, okay, I think only this way, it doesn't work. We'll have to get mixed up and see it. Believe me, if you're not happy among the Anglo-Saxons races, try tomorrow to move, force yourself out, to go talk to the Indian neighbors. They see how friendly they are. They let you come inside, eat their rotis and chapatis. Before you know, you totally fall in love with them. Same are the Chinese and Japanese. We don't have too many Japanese here. Or blacks, for that matter, lots of them. They're fantastic people. We just have to mingle. We have to think, and we have to come up with some solutions, you see. Leave it as it is, it's not going to work. We're going down right now. I mentioned a few things. All these things that I mentioned, from immigration to education to medication, all of that has serious flaws in it. And if Anglo-Saxon, that some of them that I know, they speak that, I wish just it was us. You were just yourself and you had no other people coming from any of the part of the world, Canada would have run by now into a big, huge civil war. Because the first people that they don't get along with each other are the Anglo-Saxons. So French people in Quebec have been the cause to stay in between of you. You're punching them instead of punching yourself. So is the rest of the immigrants. But by far, I have to say that we cannot have the vision, any other vision of Canada, except the one that Anglo-Saxons started it. That vision has to be continued. It cannot be abrogated. It cannot be left alone. It has to be evolved on those bases. We can create some sort of a Muslim Canada, Buddhist Canada, Chinese Canada. Chinese, they don't want it. If they did, they would have not come to Canada if they stayed in China. The people that are coming in this country, their main theme is that we didn't want to stay in the countries where we were. It was too hard for us. It was not the way we were thinking. That's why we are here. But here when they come, we should not create this wall of estrangement between us, you see. Baha'u'llah says, you're all like the fruits and the leaves of one tree and one branch. You're all one. Just understand this oneness. We enjoy more, But it's more than some kind of a poetic, philosophical, regurgitations. Your thoughts has to be practical, has to be bringing a solution. And these solutions does not have to become a revolution in the country. Canada needs evolution, not revolution. And that evolution comes that we allow that the mind of the people think about Canada. Right now our mind is stolen by damn TV there. They don't let you to think. They just steal your mind and take your attention towards what they want to say, and it's a one-side communications. You can't say nothing. If you cut the TV seriously good, then we get closer together, All the elements of Canada, all of them, are completely needed to create those jigsaw puzzles that is called humanity and a strong Canada. God bless you all.